Bobo, the Bitcoiner is back. Today, I will tell the story or the Bitcoin story of El Salvador. When El Salvador make Bitcoin legal tender, over half the population are against it. Majority of the people could hardly live from hand to mouth, not to mention, does not understand Bitcoin at all. Terrorists, terrorists, drugs, pedophiles, and organized crime are the order of the day. It is also important to know that El Salvador has no national currency. The country uses US dollars only. So, introducing Bitcoin as a legal tender was the most unpopular act of Bukele's presidency. It wasn't a huge task, but if we understand how Bitcoin gets started in El Salvador, it is a bold move. The story began years earlier in the El Zonte, a small coastal town with volcano-black beaches, dirt streets, and friendly stray dogs. An attractive destination for the international surfer. Okay. 2 decades ago, Mike Patterson, the guys over here, the then 29 years old food stand business operator from San Diego, visited El Zonte on a surfing trip. He fell in love with the small beach town. He then moved to El Zonte semi-permanently in 2013. He became more interested in El Zonte's future and the local community. He seen many kids in the El Salvador grew up without a father, often joined one of the gangs in the country, ended up in prison, or left altogether in search of a better life in America. Eventually, he met local surfer George Valenzuela. Together with some local guys, they organized the Surf Para Todos, where Zonte's youth could get surf lesson and become part of the community that will give them a sense of purpose. The project centered around a small building in the village that Valenzuela had purchased, dubbed the Hope House. Okay, for some time, they ran with occasional small donations. All right, they didn't have much funding, but make up with passion and time. Okay. Then a representative of a wealthy Bitcoin investor in US contacted Patterson. The anonymous investor wanted to redirect some of his newfound Bitcoin wealth towards non-profit organization. He wanted the Bitcoin to be actually used. Patterson is not a Bitcoin guy, but that got him interested in the digital currency. The idea sounded like a dream come true. His team then detailed out how they could use the peer-to-peer electronic cash to bootstrap the local Bitcoin economy, consisting of 2 main legs. The first one is Bitcoin will be used to pay local youth for tasks that would benefit the community. They can clean up the river, repair the roads, and serve as a lifeguard. And second, Patterson and his team would convince store owners and restaurant to accept Bitcoin. Okay. The anonymous investor was convinced, and in summer 2019, the initiative around the Hope House received a sizable amount of Bitcoin. As the Bitcoin project got underway, El Zonte was dubbed the Bitcoin Beach. Patterson hoped the surf town would attract Bitcoin tourists to come and spend their coin, so that Bitcoin project wouldn't rely on the donated money so much. The project was successful, though slow. Alright, Valenzuela's own mom participated with her roadside restaurant called Mama Rosa, where she sells pupusas, El Salvador national dish, and other meals for Bitcoin. A local hairdresser also agreed to accept Bitcoin payment, as did a handful of small shops and restaurants in town. It was a good start. When the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, tourism in the town slowed to a crawl. Alright. Many people in the El Zonte saw their income fall substantially at this period of time. And to help them out, the Hope House project rolled out something of a basic income scheme. Alright, each household was gifted $30 worth of Bitcoin per month, no string attached. Okay, more stores and restaurants start to accept Bitcoin as payment option. It was often the only currency that people had available to spend. So merchants that didn't accept the cryptocurrency were losing customers. Interesting, huh? As they became more accustomed to using Bitcoin, locals also increasingly came to appreciate the currency's benefit. Many didn't have a bank account, so they could for the first time make electronic payment or transact to each other across the distance through the phone. All right. Moreover, some started to set aside some satoshis for saving. The project also started to attract interest from abroad. They came to set up the Bitcoin Beach apps, making it easier for locals to use Bitcoin over the Lightning and off-chain. When Cash Apps developer Mir Suter visited El Zonte, he helped even establish a Bitcoin sponsorship for the national surf team. Of course, then this popular guy, Jack Muller, came to Zonte as well. With his help, many merchants added Strike payment apps on the phone, making it easy to convert receive Bitcoin into dollars balance, while also opening up the new corridor for international remittance. Strike rapidly gained popularity in other parts of the country as well, and before long it was one of the most downloaded apps in El Salvador, which in turn served as an inspiration for President Bukele's administration to try and replicate the Bitcoin Beach model on a grander scale. Zonte Bitcoin Beach project was bootstrapped with Bitcoin from an anonymous donor, right? Volunteer work from Peterson and his team helped generate the interest among the local youth and merchants who gladly choose to accept Bitcoin for payment. Economic incentive did the rest. But in exporting Bitcoin Beach success to the rest of the country, Bukele's administration opted for an alternative approach. To help make Bitcoin a success in El Salvador, he decided that accepting Bitcoin would be mandatory. He introduced Article 7 of the Bitcoin law. Every economic agent must accept Bitcoin as a payment when requiring service and goods. This is a big move, all right? So here you are. When a money is make legal tender, it means by law the currency can be used to settle debts. But it does not mean regular merchant must require to accept payment in Bitcoin. US dollar is still acceptable. The government established a $150 million trust fund to immediately buy up any Bitcoin that the merchant wish to change to US dollars. And to enable the instant and free conversion, the government developed its own wallet and the solution, all right, called the Chivo apps, model after the Strike. Bitcoin become highly publicized after the Bitcoin 2021 announcement. Bukele's opposition had a few days in the street protest with no to Bitcoin. The World Bank was quick to reject a request for El Salvador government to help implement Bitcoin on the technical level. And IMF make it clear that they saw both economic and legal issue with the move. This inability to control their own future was Bukele's argument in Bitcoin movement. Bitcoin cut down remittance fee, lightning transaction cost less than a cent, and sending Bitcoin from US to El Salvador has no additional cost. Besides, Bitcoin help financial inclusion. About 70% of the population in El Salvador do not have a bank account. Okay, so Bitcoin is open and free to anyone in the country. All right. Millions of Salvadorians can pay with their phone now. Bitcoin law help improve El Salvador's image and attract people, companies, and investment from abroad. No capital gains on tax for Bitcoin also seduce some of the crypto rich to choose El Salvador as their new home. And this incentive is boosted by Bukele's offering permanent residence to anyone who invests at least 3 Bitcoin in the country. So international Bitcoin business create job opportunities. The biggest long-term advantage of adopting Bitcoin as a national currency is that it could decrease El Salvador's dependency on US dollars and not be at the mercy of US Federal Reserve policy. COVID-19 epidemic become more problematic when US print more money. The poorest country in the world, like El Salvador, were essentially paying the richest in terms of stimulus check only in US. Mahler said in the Bitcoin 2021, it became necessary the circulation of Bitcoin, a supply that cannot be controlled by central bank. So the value of Bitcoin being volatile make it challenging to use for day-to-day commerce, particularly for people living from paycheck to paycheck. The Salvadorian government released the Chivo apps the day of Bitcoin became legal tender on September the 7th last year. The wallets convert Bitcoin to US dollar and back commission free. All right, a free $30 of Bitcoin incentivized Salvadorian to download the Chivo app upon registration. McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Starbucks were among those that were accepting Bitcoin payment on the 7th of September. This drew international attention to El Salvador and received praise from Bitcoiners around the globe. The whole world is watching El Salvador. It's a big day for Bitcoin. Bukele did create an equal playing field between Bitcoin and US dollar. Salvadorians are really can really use the Bitcoin as money. If Bitcoin move in El Salvador turn out to be successful, other dollarized countries like Ecuador, Zimbabwe, and Guam could be obvious candidate to consider the similar move. El Salvador's Bitcoin story could be historic. Bitcoin paved the way for poor country a fair chance of survival, allowed financial inclusion for its people, unbank the unbanked, all right, generate improved economic activities. Good for the people, good for the country. Interesting story, right? Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like. See you next time. Bye-bye.